Hello, and welcome to the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. I am your host, Calvin, aka Practical as Buck, and today joining me is our regular co host, Charles, aka Dad. What's going on there, Dad Charles?
Just trying, Dad Charles. I like that. Just trying to stay cool, buddy.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot down here in Texas. That's actually our title for this show. We're going to talk about shooting hot weather matches. I'm pretty sure everywhere in the country, whether you're listening to this in the north, the south, the east, the west, wherever you listen to, it's probably hot. So we're going to kind of talk about our methodology and the way we approach hot matches. And we'll kind of get into that. But before we do that, you and I both shot a match this weekend. Why don't we each talk about how that went and kind of what we did in guns like we usually do?
You want me to start?
Yeah, you can start. Age before beauty.
Thank you. Thank you. You got your beauty from me, though.
I
I
hope.
had a I had a USPSA match on Saturday, 4 stages and a classifier. I shot three pretty decent and just totally flubbed one of them, and the classifier was just horrible. Uh, it was they had some difficult stages set up, that's for sure. But there's just one. It's just kind of one of those deals where, kind of like golf, your mental just went away, your mental thought. At one time, I was shooting on a reload, and it dawned on me that I changed my grip. I never changed my grip, but I changed my grip in the middle of a reload.
Like,
So
how did you change your grip?
I had my index finger on the trigger guard on my left hand. I never do that.
So after you did the reload and you went to position your hand with the gun, your finger was in a different position.
Yeah, and I was shooting, and I was, uh, you know how when you're shooting, you got about 50,000 things running through your mind at the same time, all of a sudden, real fast?
Yeah,
Well, I was saying, while I was shooting, I was thinking, why in the crap aren't I hitting where I'm aiming? And then I think, why is your index finger on the trigger guard? You never put your index finger on the trigger guard. All this crap's going on, and then I ran that mag nearly dry. I dropped it, changed mags, and went back to my normal grip. But I have no idea why I went to that goofy grip.
that's crazy.
Have you ever had any experience like that before?
Um, like when I it's weird whenever I dry fire and I do reloads, my grip is always real jacked up after. I don't know if it's because I'm trying to go fast, but I've never done anything crazy like that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like with my Glock, I grip way underneath the trigger guard, like deeper than I usually do. I've done that a couple times, and it makes it's not I don't miss, but it feels weird, and then I
It's
have
not.
to. It's
Yeah,
not
it's not
natural,
natural. Yeah.
and I think part of it is like when I've been doing dry fire and a little bit of live fire is I've been like trying to do it the same way, but I think sometimes like you said when that buzzer goes off, you got to have that mental ability just to do everything the same. But yeah, it's happened to me a couple times, um, especially like when I'm doing a standing reload, like in a qualifier or something. No running reload, not really, but standing reloads, yeah, it can kind of happen.
This was a running reload. And one of my, this is going to surprise you. I don't know if I told you this, and you may have to explain this to your listeners, but my best stage was the one that I was running and shooting in,
That is amazing.
even in a tunnel.
Wow, you had a tunnel?
Yeah,
Dang, and
you had to,
you don't have
you
any
had to.
match video?
No, can I tell you something else? I
What?
put my GoPro on
Oh, and you forgot to start it?
twice.
Oh man,
It was just one of those days, buddy. I thoroughly
yeah,
enjoyed myself, had a good time. It was hotter than crap, but I enjoyed myself. But it was just one of those days. I just wasn't 100% there in the gray matter, I guess.
yeah. Sometimes the heat does that to you. So
Let me.
how did you shoot overall though in your match?
I have to look it up again. I noticed in my division, uh, we had 21 in my division, and I was 14th in some of the stages and 16th, so it wasn't horrible.
That's not bad.
Hey, let me tell you something. See if you experienced this. We had three guys in our squad. They were from Odessa. I call them the race guns. The ones with the three-point holster, yada yada yada.
Hmm.
These guys are really nice and all that, and they were pretty interesting to talk to, and they were good. They were really good. One stage, you had two barrels. They're about, I don't know, 10 yards apart. When they read the instructions for the stage, they said place your mag on one barrel and your pistol on the other. Well, I was about the middle of this stage when I shot, and I'm watching people and I'm talking to people around me. For some reason, people would run and grab the mag first, then go get their gun. That seemed kind of backwards to me.
They did what?
They would go grab their mag first, then run to the other barrel and get their gun. Instead of running, what would you do in that case? Would you go get your gun first?
I guess it would depend on like how the like where the targets are at because I shot a match where your your gun your gun and your mag it was like the mag like a gun like the in the center barrel was your gun and then your mags were on the outer barrels and I just ran and I grabbed the mag and loaded the gun and started shooting, but I guess it would depend on the targets. I don't know. That's weird though.
Okay, this is I'm gonna make a long story longer.
All right.
The when you did this, you had a choice because you had a whole bunch of targets to the far left to engage and a whole bunch of targets to the far right to engage. So, you know, I just thought I don't know, I guess it just seemed backwards to me to grab the magazine first, not the gun, because I grabbed the gun and grabbed the magazine, and while I was running to the target, I went ahead and slammed it in, racked it, and started firing as soon as I got there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
one of the race gun guys, they hit the buzzer. He ran and grabbed his pistol, grabbed a mag off his belt, loaded it, went to shooting, and as soon as he finished shooting, the RO said, "You're disqualified." He said, "Why am I disqualified?" And he said, "You didn't take your mag off the barrel." He said, "Read the deal again." So he read it out loud. It says, "Place your magazine on the barrel and your gun on the other barrel." It said nothing about using that magazine.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
That's interesting. So he tried to DQ him because he didn't use that magazine.
Right.
I guess I mean unless it says retrieve the magazine, like you don't have to.
Well, he said it was implied that you had to use that magazine. He
Well,
said
that's
if
the
you,
thing. That's the thing with USPSA. Unless it's explicit, then it doesn't. You can game it like that. That's crazy.
he ended up not disqualifying him, but they argued a little bit, and it pissed me off because I didn't think about it.
Well, that's crazy. That's pretty crazy to me because unless it's explicit, like you have to do this. Like one of the qualifiers I shot this weekend, it said engage T1, which is like a paper, and then there was four poppers. It says engage T1 and P1 through 4. Well, people were thinking that it was engage the paper first, when in actuality, unless it says engage one of these first, it doesn't matter. That's crazy. Yeah, sometimes you can kind of find ways to game that kind of stuff.
Well, our classifier, it said make ready, hands above the shoulders. When the buzzer goes off, engage targets T1 through T3 two times, reload, engage targets T1 through T3 again.
Yeah, you can do like that's standard, but saying that you have to use that mag,
Well, they never said you had to use it, but it was, most of us, it was common sense. You put your mag over here, you do that. It's kind of like have you done the poker deal where you're sitting at the poker table and you got to hold the cards with your gun and your mag on the table?
yeah.
Do you have to use that mag when you stand up?
See, I think where that like where that stage I shot a couple weeks ago, where they fixed that is that like any mags you were going to use, you could not reload them off your belt. They had to come from the barrels. Like, but that has to be in the stage description.
Yes.
So
I guarantee you, when they go back to their club meeting, they're going to discuss that and really put emphasis on it because you're right. It was implied, but it wasn't stated.
yeah, it has to be stated. Oh,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
but yeah, that's my long story for the shoot.
Awesome. Did you load those bullets yet?
No, sir, I have not. I polished some brass, but it's been a busy
Week.
week.
Awesome.
I need to talk to you offline about that a little bit anyway. So
Okay. Well, I shot a qualifier match on Sunday. 4 qualifiers, 2 regular short stages. I did decent. So just looking at my percentages, I have 2 that are very close to like almost being like 2% from being a B class. The rest are like high C class, almost B class. So I haven't gotten I have 6 qualifiers in carry optics. I have 1 that's zeroed. So I don't know if they're still waiting to, if I need more classifiers. I don't know what the whole deal is, but I'm not too really worried about it. I was kind of like worked up about it on Tuesday when I was looking at the classifiers, and I decided that I'm not going to really worry about what my classification is because in actuality it's just a letter, and that usually you're only going to see 1 classifier for every match that you shoot. So whether me jumping up in classification is going to take a while. So I'm just going to worry about my match placement and how I shoot just in carry optics and maybe even overall after a little while. So that's kind of my focus now. I did pretty good on most classifiers except for one, man. It was difficult. It's called bill drill or something like that. So what it is, it's 2 strings. You have a target at 30. You have 4 targets. You have 2 at 35 and then 2 like at 15. And you have to draw and do a bill drill, which is 6 shots. So you drew to the 35-yard target, 6 shots, both hands freestyle, reload, and then 6 strong hand, and then same thing on the second string, draw 6 shots on the 35, reload weak hand. And I worked a lot of strong hand, weak hand in my dry fire, but on that left target at 35 yards, I had 5 misses. I guess I shot too fast. I don't know what happened. So that was pretty much like my worst stage. I had a really good stage where I like out of the 60 shooters, I was like 7th overall, which was pretty good for me, like 4th in
oh
carry
heck
optics.
yeah,
So I've never been like that. That was like a big thing for me. My time was good. If my hits were a little bit better, my hit factor would have been a little bit higher. But I was pretty happy with the way I shot. I've been dry firing like every single day, and I think that's really happening. Not really helping, not happening. It is happening, so it's helping. And I just got my bullets, my 3,000 bullets. Funny story about that is they were supposed to be delivered yesterday, but I went and looked in the mailbox and they just put like one of those, we missed you slips. And
yeah.
I went up to the post office and I don't even think they tried to deliver it because that damn thing was so heavy. Those 3,000 bullets, oh my God, it was heavy. So I think when they got it, they were like, hey, just give that dude a slip and he'll just come up here and come get it. Because it probably weighed 40 pounds. Maybe 30, it was heavy. Maybe not 40 pounds, but it was freaking heavy. So,
Well, let me tell you a story about Sunday morning.
okay.
You know those bullets you ordered for me?
Yes.
I carried them out to the shop and got my trusty knife out, opened it up, and there was 2 boxes in there. Then they had this paper in there to kind of for a filler.
Mm-hmm.
The first box I glanced at said 250 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I got pissed.
Oh, because you just saw that one?
Well, I thought I assumed the other one was 250 rounds. So I said I only got 500 rounds.
Yeah. So when they sent me that 3,000, I had 4 of those 750 boxes.
Gotcha.
But they're black. So black bullets, they do a really good job of packaging their bullets. So they pretty much put like their bullets in small boxes and they tape the crap out of them, and then they put those small boxes in a bigger box, and then that bigger box gets put in one of those like shipping boxes. So
Right.
like if it opens, you should be fine. So, but yeah, I loaded like 1,000 rounds today.
Really?
Yeah, I just sat down, loaded 1,000 rounds, so a little more than 1,000. I have like 1,000 match ammo rounds and about 300 practice rounds. So I'm gonna
Well,
load some.
you nearly got a phone call Sunday morning.
That's funny. You thought I took some?
No, it wasn't that. I just thought something jacked up because the 750 box was upside down, and when I glanced at it, I kind of thought it said
Well, yeah.
250.
Well, they're the same size too.
Yeah.
That's funny. You're like, what the heck, man? Yeah.
Hey, I just texted you that classifier we had.
Let's look at it.
That
So
that the one in the back is, I guess it's
tuxedo.
T3.
Yeah, the tuxedo.
Yeah, that one. People were hitting the black like crazy on that one, just the way the angle of it was.
How many yards was it?
Crap, it was. I'm trying to
So
see.
36 feet would be what? 12 yards?
Yeah,
That's not too far.
but just
Re-
the way
re-
they had them close together. So
Really, like on those tuxedos, you just gotta slow down because it's real easy to try to shoot them fast because looks like you have a lot of like target area,
you don't.
but yeah, you don't. Well, so that's pretty much what we did this week. So what we're going to talk about today, I think is a really important topic because a lot of major matches are shot in the summer. You go out and you spend your $25 to shoot a local match. You don't want to waste that because you're hot. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we do to kind of help us um, with our shooting. So I guess before we start, we should kind of talk about the environment that we're shooting in, so people kind of understand what we're talking about. So
Okay.
like, why don't you describe your? We'll use a scientific word here, climate, and describe what are the conditions that you're shooting in?
Well, Saturday that match, I think we were in the mid 90s, but we were about 28% humidity or so, which is really high for us. And but the kicker was on our match Saturday, we had zero wind.
Oh, so it's just still.
And if you're up in this part of Texas, no wind is weird. But man, when it's hot, it makes it even worse.
So you shoot more in like a dry, arid type.
Yeah, we this past couple of weeks we've had more of a higher humidity, but yeah, it's more of a dry arid. You know, it's that dry heat you hear everybody talk about. It could be 100 degrees with a 30-mile an hour wind.
Wow. Yeah, then it's like a freaking heater. Well, I live in South Texas, and so it's just as hot, but we have the added humidity, which makes it just that much worse. That match we shot on Sunday. My little brother was in town visiting, and he was dying. He was staying in the shade, and he was still sweating. So I deal with a lot of humidity. Um, and, it gets pretty hot down here too. It'll get into like the hundreds. So that's a big reason why um, we're going to talk about and why we're so adamant about the things that we do. So I guess we could talk about preparation. So like before you go shoot, like if Saturday you got your match, it's going to be 110 degrees. What are the things that you start doing before your match to get ready for that?
The day and the night before, I pound as much water as I possibly can drink. Uh, I probably drink at least six of those big tumblers. Those
The Yeti cup, like the Yeti
yes,
cups.
the big Yeti cup tumblers. I drank about six of those at work the day before, and then that evening I drank about eight large glasses of water before I went to bed, just to get hydrated.
Yeah, I
And
do. I do the same thing. I try to drink as much water as I can. If I know it's going to be hot, I try not to go like I try not to do like any like be outside a whole lot because I'm going to be out in it the next day. But life happens. Um, I try not to drink any alcohol either if I can. If I can, if I can try. Like if you go to a barbecue or something, like don't drink 15 beers because you're gonna feel it. It's gonna be bad the next day.
yeah, you won't do well.
Yeah. So I try to avoid the alcohol. What about food? Do you like try to not eat anything crazy?
You know, I got a group I go to coffee and breakfast with every Saturday morning. That morning, I got up. When I woke up that morning, I drank me 2 cups of coffee because I need my coffee. And then I met those guys, and I just ate a sausage and a biscuit and got me a large iced tea. I didn't want to go too nuts on the caffeine.
Yeah.
But
So
just a little something to hold me. Uh, and when I went to the shoot the night before, I went and got one of those large bottles of Smart Water. I like the Smart Water bottles. I know it's not very smart to buy bottled water, but I like their bottles. Their bottles are pretty cool. I mean, especially if you're out and about. But I bought one of those the night before, put it in the freezer, froze it, and then I've got one of those big, I guess, gallon and a half igloo water jugs that I filled up with ice water. But when I got to the range, my lovely daughter-in-law gave me what's that thing called, a cool wrap?
yeah, let's talk about that because I can't get mine to work.
Well, let me tell you what I did. I got my frozen bottle of Smart Water and I wrapped that cool wrap around that bottle and put it in my war wagon. And as the ice started melting in it, the condensate was saturating that cool wrap.
Hmm.
And whenever I would stop or take a break to hydrate between shoots, I'd throw that cool wrap on because it was wet from the
Hmm.
condensation off the bottle. So it worked pretty well.
Yeah. So like with food, I try not to eat anything super crazy or spicy the night before because I know the next day it won't be good. Or even in the morning, I used to eat like tacos before a match, and I try to like to eat something a little bit more wholesome.
You
Like even
don't do
like
that anymore?
like I try and I actually like I actually stop at a Whataburger and I'll just get like a breakfast on a bun. I know it's still like fast food, but it's better than like a taco.
Well, one match me and you shot at in Austin, remember we stopped at the Curve and
Yeah, and
ate
got taco.
burritos. Yeah,
Yeah,
tacos. I'm sorry.
yeah. But
We have to have a show on that, on tacos or burritos. It's all how you fold.
oh,
Sorry, got off tangent. Sorry.
that's funny. Um, yeah, and then I usually pack a cooler. I like to take food to the match. I've been taking like little rollover peanut butter sandwiches. Like I'll take two of them, just like a piece of bread with some chunky peanut butter. And I'll take some granola bars because I find that about after two stages, I get a little like hungry, and me eating a little something helps. I also take a cooler. I have like a little igloo cooler, and I fill it with water. And then I don't usually drink Gatorade during the match. I've been buying these things called Body Armor. They're a little bit. They don't have as much sugar in them. So, and I won't even drink a whole thing during the match. I'll just like before I shoot, like when I'm on deck, and then after I shoot, I'll just take a few sips of it. I do try to avoid caffeine, but occasionally I will drink a Bang Energy before, but I don't drink it like while I shoot. I'll try to drink it about like 30 to 40 minutes before I shoot. So that way I can kind of like let that caffeine metabolize and it actually turns into energy and I'm not like jittery or anything like that. So because I have like drank a Bang while I shot or drink it really fast and then I was like all crazy for like 3 stages. I couldn't calm down. It was all jittery and stuff. It was terrible. So do you take food or anything, any snacks with you to the range?
You know, sometimes, but like this one, we were done at 1:30. You know,
Yeah.
and I guess the other thing is too. I don't usually eat a whole lot on Saturdays. I'll eat breakfast, usually skip lunch, and then eat a big dinner or something. But when the match was over, I did stop and get me a big Gatorade and some peanut butter crackers just to charge my battery.
All right, we're back. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back. So why don't you go ahead and talk about? You said that you were when you left the match, you went to go eat or something like that.
Yeah, I stopped at a convenience store and got me a Gatorade and some peanut butter crackers because I just Just need a little bit pick me up before I had to go do a couple of little projects.
Yeah, I just like to snack on something between. I think it just kind of helps me, like, I don't know, calm down, just kind of like puts me at ease. And I get hungry, so like I can eat all the time. Next, so one thing that I've really tried to do is during the summer matches is a big thing is like, and I know this sounds like very obvious, but you want to try to stay in the shade as much as you can. Um, when I shot a match in May, I wasn't ready for the heat, and that's when I realized I needed to make these changes. So while people were shooting, or I was trying to pick up brass. So usually during these hot summer months, I don't pick up brass. I have enough brass from when you gave me from when I practiced. So I don't even worry about picking up brass because I figure when it's cooler, it's a little bit nicer out, then I can pick it up at the match. But during the summer, I'm not a brass chicken. I think it's just wasted energy. Um, I try to stay in the shade as much as I can. The last match, I ran the tablet a little bit, and that actually kind of helped because when you're standing around just pasting targets, the heat can kind of get to you like mentally, like you get kind of tired or bored. So I don't mind like running the tablet at the match and scoring people because there was one stage where I got to stay in the shade the whole time and they just called there was only like 5 targets. So they just called it out and I just marked it, put the time and it was perfect. So
Well, here's the deal where we shoot. There is no shade.
yeah, and the you remember when we went to Austin and shot that match?
Yeah, where they had the awnings and stuff.
Yes, I like that match a lot because it has great stages and stuff like that. But man, that's a nice range because literally they have like these awnings because that come down and it's like a covered patio type thing and then it comes down like slanted I guess for like the rain and stuff like that. But it's nice because you can actually go under and stand under them. So like the entire squad can be in the shade
Load
and
mags,
load
everything.
mags. Yeah, and you don't have to worry about being the heat. Yeah, y'all don't that range doesn't have where I'm going on Sunday in Bulverde, they don't have very good shade either. So I know sometimes some clubs will bring like pop up tents. I seen a guy he put a umbrella on top on his shooting car. I thought you should maybe do something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at adding that to the war wagon. Just as long as it doesn't take away from my bull sack, you know. But
Yeah, you should though. Dude, that'd be so cool. Like to have a just a nice shade where you just be under the shade for a few minutes while you load your mags. So like, okay, let's say after you shoot, right? After you're on deck, you walk through, you shoot. Do you do anything after you shoot to kind of help your body cool back down? Because I know, like USPSA, some stages are short, some stages are kind of long. But you're not usually shooting and moving more than 60 seconds. But is there like after you shoot, what is like your little routine that you do?
what I do when I'm in the hole, I'm kind of backing up on you a little bit.
Okay.
I'm always either taping targets or picking up steel or whatever. But when I'm told I'm in the hole, I don't do squat till I shoot. I don't go tape. I don't do anything since I'm in the hole. I just kind of sit there and figure out what I'm going to do. But as soon as I finish shooting and I'm scored, I go straight to my war wagon, get my stool out, sit down, give me something to drink. I put my cool wrap on, and then I load mags. And once I've got all my mags loaded and back on my belt and everything, then I'll get up and start taping or setting steel back up again. But I guess I take about a 4 or 5 person break right
That's good.
then.
That's perfectly. I think that's perfectly acceptable because if you have a squad of 15 people, let's say you shoot six, or let's say you shoot seventh. Well, you're going to pace for those 5 people that are in front of you. When you're on deck or in the hole, you're not going to pace, which is okay because you're getting ready for your stage. And then you shoot, and then you have your time to load your mags. So I think it's good to like kind of take that time and let your body like relax and cool down because if you load mags, I think that's a big problem too. Is like I would load my mags and then I go back out and start pasting like on this next like it's like only been one shooter after me. So I think it's good like to be a little selfish like that. and just take your time, load your mags, get your stuff squared away.
And what killed us on the very last stage, it was a difficult stage. We had to wait 45 minutes for the squad to finish shooting before we did. So we sat for 45
Oh,
minutes
that's
before we
terrible.
shot it.
That's just
Yeah.
terrible because, man, because then you're just sitting in the heat. You're not doing anything. You're not like, you almost want to go and help them pace. That way it'll go by faster. And
It was horrible. And
and you're not having to wait. See, what I do after I shoot, I do kind of like you. When I'm on deck, I might pace one little target, or I might just a lot of times I'll just step back in the back of the bay. Sometimes I'll like if the next two people that aren't shooting, or the next person if they're not walking the stage, I'm gonna walk it. I'll even do like a little mini walkthrough while they're shooting it, like with my own little stage plan. But we can talk about that a whole nother match. That could probably be our next episode, talking about like stage planning and match and all that. And then after I shoot, after everything's scored, I go back to my my range bag. The first thing I do is I'll take a drink of that of water or that body armor. Then I'll take out my cold towel and I'll put it around my neck. Sometimes I even put it on my head and just let it drip on me, and I'll wear that while I'm loading mags, just to kind of get me cooled off. Get your shirt wet, get your neck wet, get your hat kind of damp, so that way you can cool off. And then what I'll do is I'll take that towel and I'll stuff it back down in my cooler. I do kind of like you do. I stick it in the bottom of my cooler. At that match I shot in Austin, I had pieces of ice stuck to it. That's how cold it was. And then one thing I started doing, my wife bought me this awesome sports towel. It's Norwex brand. It's very thick. It's a very big towel. So what I'll do after I shoot is I'll take that towel and I'll wipe my face and I'll like take off my hat and I'll really clean. I just dry off my head, that way I'm not sweaty. And then I have this other, like, it's almost like a cool towel, but it's a little bit thinner. And I just keep that in my back pocket, and I use it, to dry my hands before I shoot or anything like that. But then I also just wear it around my neck, or I'll put it on my head, and it kind of keep the sun off of you. So that's kind of my little ritual. If I'm hungry, I'll eat while I'm loading mags. It's kind of zen out, chill out, and then after that, you're like, I'm pretty much good to go.
how about how do you dress? Well, I know you wear your jersey.
So my jersey, my tech wear jersey from Rudy Project, the tech wear jerseys, even if you're not like on a team or anything, just go buy yourself a tech wear shirt. You don't even have to put logos or nothing on it. Those shirts they're so lightweight and very, very comfortable. I don't really have any problems. I bought these shorts. I've been meaning to tell you about them. So they're like this off-brand from Amazon. I bought them on Amazon. They're like $30, but they're very stretchy. So like they're good for like when you're moving and things like that, but they're also very lightweight. I'll put a link to them in the show notes. Y'all can check them out. If you do buy them, make sure you buy your actual like correct size, because I've bought shorts. I bought like they have a very elastic type waistband. I bought a size too big, but it's all good. If they made like athletic shorts that had belt loops in them, I would definitely buy those. I wear like, very low cut socks. I try to dress cool. I actually bought some new headphones. I bought these Surefire like earplugs, and I'll link them down in they're like the E7 Defenders. They're not like electronic or anything like that. They're like a foam tip earplug, but they have a filter in them, so they work kind of like electronic hearing protection. I got to where I can't wear the earmuffs in the summer. It's just too hot. It's too much heat around my ears, and I don't even know if I'll ever go back to the other ones, because I really like these a lot. Because when you're shooting, or when people are shooting very loud next to you, they have plugs and you can plug them up. So I'll link them in the show notes as well, and y'all can check them out. They're cheap. They're like $20. So those are really the only equipment changes I'll do.
I am going to purchase some Solomon shoes though.
Yeah, the Solomon shoes are good. They don't really help you stay cool or anything. They're more of like a traction thing. But
Well, I was wearing tennis shoes Sunday, and at that range they got some big caliche rocks.
oh yeah, you step on that? Ugh.
Oh yeah, it hurts, and then they don't have any grip. I was like sliding everywhere.
I slide on my Solomon sometimes too, but mine are old. The little nubs are pretty worn off. Yeah, and obviously you wear shorts. You're not a psychopath and wear jeans or anything like that, or pants. Some guys at the range still wear pants. I don't see how they do it. I see a lot of guys, they wear like those arm gaiters, like the spandex, like on their arms. And I don't know if that would be cooler. I thought about buying like a pair of white ones and trying it, but I don't know if that would keep me cooler. I feel like I would be hotter with that extra material on my arm.
We had guys wearing shorts, and I don't know what you call them. I'm going to call them. It looked like they're wearing yoga britches under them.
Yeah, a lot of guys wear like those. They're kind of like tights.
Yeah, why?
I don't know unless I mean I guess it could be kind of like a I don't know like a sports underwear. I don't know.
I just
I
don't understand. I mean, I could understand if it was cold, wearing those under your pants,
yeah.
maybe. But when it's freaking hot and you're wearing shorts and then you put those on too, I don't
I
know.
don't I don't know. I know a lot of people that wear long sleeve. Like you sweat and then the wind blows. Whatever you stay cool. But if you don't got any wind, then I don't really see the point of that. So I mean, yeah. So is there anything else we need to add about hot weather matches?
Hydration, man, is your friend.
Yeah, I think drinking at least one bottle of water per stage should be like your minimum.
But
Like,
you have to start the day before.
yeah, you really have to start the day before. Yeah, you can't, show up to the match and expect to be to hydrate at the match. It's kind of like
It's too late.
yeah, it's like going to a test and not studying and expecting just to pass the test. Yeah, I would suggest trying to drink, at least one bottle of water per stage. If you can do more than that, that's great. I know, like, if I drink a lot of water, then I have to go to the bathroom, and at some places, like the bathroom is very inconvenient at some places. So you just gotta watch it. If you know you're getting hot and you're like running the tablet or you're running shooters as an RO, like tell someone like, hey, can you take this for me so that way I can go cool off? And most people will take it. Like when it's hot weather, you really got to take care of yourself. You got to be kind of selfish, you know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
jacked myself up at a match last year.
yeah, just trying to do too much.
Yeah, when the match was over, I sat in my pickup for 30 minutes before I could drive home.
Yeah, that's what you got to be careful, and you just got to
Yeah.
know you got. And like I told my brother, I told Blake, I said, if you start getting hot, man, tell me, and I'll give you the keys to the truck, and you can go sit in the truck, because I didn't need him passing out on me at the
Oh
match.
hell no.
So, but he did good. I do want to give him a shout out though. Blake was very awesome having him at the matches. I think I want to have him at all my matches, um, because he carried my range bag and my cooler to every stage.
Good man.
And I like look up and I'm like, where's my stuff? And then I just see Blake walk into the next stage with it. So appreciate that, Blake. Shout out to Blake. Hopefully, a lot of people were asking him about when he was going to shoot, and I think he's interested. I just don't think he has the time right now or the resources being in college. So maybe we'll get him out to a match one day. We'll
Oh,
get him a belt set up. We'll get him some stuff. We'll get him set up and we'll get him to a match.
well, one thing him and I were discussing Tuesday night, I told him he really needs to start off on a steel match.
Yeah,
That would be good. You're not having to be mobile. You just draw and fire.
yeah. I think that would be good. Be a good start for him.
Okay, I got one more story about my match Saturday.
All right, let's hear it.
Mr. PCC shows up.
Oh, I gotta. Okay.
He's in the other squad, thank God. Well, anyway, that was the squad we were following. And we finished up ours. We went over there, and they still had like three shooters. Well, he was one of them. Oh my God! He walks up with his bag. Sets it on the ground. He's got it all zipped up, so he has to unzip everything. He gets it out. Then he's looking for his mag. I'm over here being like the Tasmanian devil. PCC shooter.
Oh man,
Then
that's
the RO's having to tell him again how he's got to hold his gun when they get ready to do the make ready. I was like, Jesus H Christ. And
That's
Every stage, man, I would kind of glance over and look at him, and it's the same crap. I mean, don't get me. I mean, I've shot with some guys. I was trying to think of the guy's name. I'd give him a plug because he shoots both limited and PCC. But man, when he walks up to the deal, he's got his mag in his hand. He walks up with his gun bag, sets it on the ground, pulls it out, loads it, and he's on. No extra time, no nothing. And but this cat, I'm surprised he doesn't have the combination lock on the bag or the fingertip recognition first that he has to do. Oh, my hands are wet. Let me do it again. Let me do it again.
yeah. We had one PCC guy in our division, so he was shooting production. So he was shooting. So at this match, he was shooting two guns. I let people shoot two guns at this match, and he was shooting production with his Smith with his it was a Smith and Wesson M&P, the full size one, and
Okay.
then he was shooting the PCC. So and like I know they're two different guns, whatever, but they're both like he's shooting the same exact classifier twice. And so I'm looking right now. I know I beat him on a couple stages. And what drives me absolutely bonkers, and I think Blake realized it too, when we were doing those those classifiers with the strong hand weak hand pretty much does not exist for PCC.
True.
It does not. So
You're true. Well, the only thing, have you ever shot a rifle left-handed?
yeah, when
It's awkward.
I was in my tactical days, I did. Like it is very awkward.
It's very awkward.
But you are also shooting a rifle at a pistol match
Right. With an optic.
with an optic.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I feel you. It is. I'll give them to. It's. I'd give them 15% awkwardness on it.
Yeah. So I have the Practice Score Competitor app, and I'm just like looking at so if you don't know what Practice Score Competitor is, it's like a $10 app. You can download it, and you can look at like basically like if me and Dash have the same match, I can compare our scores side by side, and it's cool because you can edit your scores, and you can go and you'd be like, okay, on this classifier or on this match, if I would have shot four more alphas, what would have my score have been? And it'll tell you. So just looking at this, my hit factor was either higher or slightly better than his on almost all the stages, except for like one. So I think that's my goal is, to do well and
To
carry
beat
out
every PCC guy in there.
and to beat the PCC guys because they drive me crazy. I was looking at this quadding in our next match on Sunday, and luckily we only have like one PCC guy. So
Is he in your squad?
we have a lot of PCC down here. It's kind of rampant, and like some of the PCC guys are cool because like they know like, hey, shooting PCC, and then some of the guys like make a joke out of it. Oh yeah, I know I'm shooting the cheater division, huh? But then it's like, yeah, dude, like, yeah, they just annoy me. And Blake was like, "What the heck? That's strong hand." I'm like, "Yes, Blake. Their freestyle is the same thing as strong hand." So they had to, but we did have to reload in every single one of the classifiers except for one. So that makes me happy. All right, so I think that's all I think we beat that horse to its death. I think that was a pretty good topic. Is there anything you want to mention before we have to jump out of here?
No, I'm going to be a little bit for I have another match. The next one they're having here with our club is a 3-gun, and I'm going to pass on that one. But I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm going to go relax.
Nice. Yeah, I'm shooting a match this weekend and next weekend. And then I start to get busy with work, so I'm going to try to shoot at least one match a month. The match, like one of the clubs down here that puts on really really good matches, they're going to start putting on twice a month USPSA, so it'll be nice. I might be able to shoot at least 2 matches a month. So,
And then we got that one in October.
yeah, the Hose Fest. So that's going to be. We'll talk a little bit more about that when it gets closer. That's going to be a fun match. I got to make sure I have ammo loaded for that because it's going to be a lot of ammo. So thank you guys for listening to our episode today. Make sure you go to Facebook go into your search bar and search Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. Look for the amazing graphic of me shooting my gun in my Rudy jersey. It says "Go Fast, Don't Suck." Click the like button. That way you can stay up to date. You can follow me on Instagram at Practical as Buck. I like to post. I usually kind of mirror all my stuff that goes on Instagram. Also goes on the Facebook page for the podcast. You want to plug your Instas so that way they can see all your pictures of your food.
C31 Leatherwood.
Yeah, and he's been doing a little bit better job of posting. Make sure that you also subscribe to us, guys, on Apple Podcasts or whatever you're listening to. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us that 5-star review. Leave us a review. We're always open for feedback. Eventually, in the future, I would like to read those, maybe at the end of a show or something, so that way we can read y'all's comments. And make sure you definitely like our page because we'll be doing another listener question show probably not this in a couple weeks towards the beginning of the next month. So, do you have anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Everybody have a great weekend and stay cool.
Yeah, shoot, stay safe, stay cool, shoot fast, and don't suck.